But I think it's just people's way of sort of saying, you must not criticise Meghan.
I think the whole racial question is entirely misleading. It's irrelevant. And I would warn against anybody taking that line as any sort of explanation as to why Meghan sometimes doesn't get the press she necessarily wants.
Even Prince Harry played the racism card to an extent.
Right. Yeah, and I advise strongly against him doing that.
Did you?
Yeah. If you take that point of view, then you're going to miss perhaps some more relevant reasons to why Meghan isn't as popular as she should be.
What?
For 8 years, Patrick Jeffson was Princess Diana's private secretary. He saw the pressure public scrutiny brings, but says, like Diana did,
Perfect.
the modern royals must learn to cope with it.
It's confusing for her, I'm sure. Royal life is very similar to celebrity life, but celebrity lives are earned. Royal lives are granted.
Coming up,
I'm the luckiest girl in the world.
forgotten friends come back to bite.
You're just a jilted friend.
I'm not a jilted friend,
You
I
are.
promise. I'm not.
And can the ghost of Diana save Harry and Meghan's fractured fairy tale?
Meghan doesn't need to look anywhere else but at the legacy of her mother-in-law.
That's next on 60 Minutes.
I'm not
Okay.
I am not dissing the dirt on Meghan, not at all. I'm being honest. As a friend and someone that knew her before Harry, knew her. I didn't even know she was famous when I met her. I didn't know who she was.
And we'll never be royal.
With
Let's go.
so-called friends like British media personality Lizzie Cundy, Meghan Markle probably doesn't need enemies.
What did you think of her?
I thought
Wow.
she was great fun, looking for a guy. She loved England.
She says they were great buddies before Meghan met Harry.
She said she wanted a boyfriend, she wanted a celebrity boyfriend, and never, in my wildest dreams would I ever think that
Are you serious?
she would end up marrying Prince Harry.
But when Meghan joined the firm, this Lizzie was dumped in favour of another.
Oh,
I think Meghan changed to a girl that maybe was more manipulating and doing what Meghan wants to do. I kind of saw a different side.
Come on, you're just a jilted friend.
Here we go again.
I'm not a jilted friend,
You
I
are.
promise. I'm not. I'm really not a jilted friend at all. But I feel that they could do things so much better. I don't think you can lecture about the planet and then take 4 private jets. I wanted her to be the next Princess Diana. I think she still can be.
Let you get the chance.
But Princess Diana was about everyone else, and it appears that Meghan is about Meghan a lot of the time.
And here's another problem for Meghan.
Okay.
Could anyone live up to the memory of the mother-in-law from heaven? Princess Diana's former private secretary, Patrick Jeffson, says, in the eyes of the British public, it's an almost impossible task. But it could be the key to winning Meghan's PR battle.
She was in the business of life and death, of dealing with people regardless of race or gender or
Okay.
background, who were at the bottom of the heap, whose lives were miserable. People who were stigmatized, people who were outsiders, outcasts. So today, AIDS isn't stigmatized.
What?
Leprosy isn't stigmatized. Mental illness is transformed. All Diana's work.
So, what you're saying is that Meghan doesn't need to look anywhere else but at the legacy of her mother-in-law.
Meghan isn't and never has been an ordinary British person. So part of her challenge is to work out what it feels like, what it is to be an ordinary British person.
Let you get the chance.
And not to be one, but to understand, therefore, how best to use her extraordinary influence and high profile.
So what's the blueprint then for Meghan to be a success?
Oh, hi, Mark.
The blueprint involves not doing more, but probably doing less. She is, after all, wife of the 6th in line to the throne. That means that she is constitutionally irrelevant. However...
That's not a very nice way of putting it.
However, she is obviously very high profile. And that combination has never really happened before.
Back at Buckingham Palace, Katie Hopkins is still railing against Meghan. But there's also an admission, an economic Markle sparkle.
Harry and Meg's are new money. I can almost hear the tills.
Yes, they are new money. And I do think in terms of a new kind of era of profitability, the social media generation for the royal family.
What?
And all of that, of course, Markle's got that sewn up. But this is what it's all
hang
about.
on a second.
I nearly said something nice about
You
Markle.
concede that she's good for royal business.
No, she's good for business. She's good for Meghan Markle's business.
Now, while Meghan trashing seems to be a popular sport at the moment, it also pays to remember her greatest supporter is also a great warrior.
Oh, hi, Mark.
I think Harry's the most interesting part of this whole story.
So true.
He's doing his own thing.
True.
He's almost winding everyone up, going, come get me, because I'm after a fight.
Oh, this
Okay.
is so true. And it is very much like he is just determined to go anti-establishment. He's flicking the V sign to everything that he was brought up by.
So it's not Meghan, it's Harry's fault.
It's
Right.
Harry, but Harry is redeemable because Harry was in a uniform and he was in a helicopter and he was in Afghanistan. Meghan was only ever in cheap movies.
Get the chant.
In reality, the fate of the royal family doesn't rest on Harry or Meghan. There's an order of things and traditions one person can't make or break.
Well, good evening from London. Welcome to Piers Morgan Uncensored. Reviews for Harry and Meghan's big-budget Netflix series have so far been less than kind. Unimaginative and frustrating, said Hollywood's Bible Variety magazine. So sickening, I almost brought up my breakfast, said the woke Bible The Guardian. Or the intimacy of Instagram, sneered the normally timid New York Times. A nauseating self-serving snooze fest, said another pundit. Well, that was me, actually. Now, against this deluge of derision, Netflix today released a new trailer for the second half of this compelling series, which comes out on Thursday. Viewer discretion is advised. This clip contains weapons-grade hypocrisy.
I wonder what would have happened to us had we not gone out when we did.
Our security was being pulled. Everyone in the world knew where we were.
I said, we need to get out of here.
Hi.
We are on the Freedom Flight. To see this institutional gaslighting.
I wasn't being thrown to the wolves, I was being fed to the wolves.
They were actively recruiting people to disseminate disinformation.
They were happy to lie to protect my brother. They were never willing to tell the truth to protect us.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
The Rogue Royals.
They just wanted to be free. They wanted to be free to love and be happy. I applauded that.
In order for us to be able to move to the next chapter, you got to finish the first chapter.
It gave us a chance to create that home that we had always wanted.
I've always felt as though this was a fight worth fighting for.
Institutional gaslighting, says Harry. Do you think he even knows what that means? They were happy to lie to protect my brother. Who? The royals? Me? The media? Who is it? The irony is earth-shattering, isn't it? Harry and Meghan are the Duke and Duchess of gaslighting themselves. The entire show is a cynical attempt to manipulate viewers into questioning their own recollections of reality. And if we learned anything at all from the first 3 hours of this $100 million wine-a-thon, it's surely that this dismal duo wouldn't know the truth if it smacked them around their smug chops.
Oh, yeah.
Let's look at their truth versus the actual truth. Meghan moans that royal advisors forced her to uninvite her dear niece, Ashley, from the wedding, the only member of her family that she seemed to be still talking to.
How do we explain that this half-sister isn't invited to the wedding, but that the half-sister's daughter is? And so, with Ashley, the guidance at the time was to not have her come to our wedding.
Yeah, that was a lie. Impeccably placed royal sources told the Sunday Times no such guidance was ever given. And that was supposed to be the show's big example of how Meghan really cares very deeply about her family. So deeply that only one member of that family was at the wedding, her mother, not even her favourite little niece, Ashley. Meghan also sees she got no advice on royal protocol, forcing her to learn how to be a princess all on her own.
Joining this family, I knew that there was a protocol for how things were done. There's no class and some person who goes sit like this, cross your legs like this, use this fork, don't do this, curtsy then, wear this kind of hat. Doesn't happen.
Another lie. And by the way, Meghan, if you don't like me calling you a liar, just sue me and we'll go through all this in court. The Sunday Times discovered she was actually handed a 30-point dossier, studiously researched, brimming with information and contacts.
Drop it.
Meghan later simpers that she never wore bright colours to show respect, because she's all about respect.
So I was like, well, what's a color that they'll probably never wear? Camel, beige, white. So I wore a lot of muted tones.